One thing I always say is work smarter, not harder. If you aren't using the Solo app, then you may be working harder. So let's change that. Download the app, link your accounts where you can manage your income, track your expenses, and project your taxes. Not only that, but you can plan by optimizing your time, make more, and even guarantee your daily pay with guaranteed earnings. Download Solo and begin to work smarter, not harder today. Link is in the description. All right, let's get back to it.
Oh, something fun. Uber's Quest with a twist. You can't do it with more than X amount of rejects. So it's usually about double. So you might get a quest where you have to complete a certain amount of rides and get your bonus. But you also might get a quest that you get a certain amount of rides and you get a bonus. But you have to do it with fewer than so many declines. Now,
what the fuck, man?
Well, they call them rejects. So if you reject a ride that comes in through it just timing out, through hitting the X button, or canceling, that counts as a reject. Yeah, that's the new thing. I basically talked about this in the video today. Everybody's like, oh, it's a 50%. Yeah, it starts off that way, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's how it stays, because what's nice is it's actually a hard number. So if you take, 25 rides, your first quarter is already done. You still have 200 rejects that you can play with down the road. So, the one thing that you want to watch out for is, okay, you might get this. The question is the quest actually going to be worth it? So if you're cherry picking, this one's $3.20 that you see, 100 trips, $320. So for the 100 trips that you give, if you can give 100 trips in the time frame, first off, make sure you can do that. If you can't, don't accept that one. Try one of the different quests. But the question is, would you accept rides that are going to be $3.20 per ride cheaper than what you normally would just to fill the quest? And if you are, you probably want to continue cherry picking and say, screw the quest. I don't really care, because you're going to make more money at that point then, because you're looking for the rides that are going to be more worth it. So you have to watch how your driving style is, and you have to look at what they're offering. And there's a few things behind it, but that's you really got to look at that. And all this comes back to is they're not paying drivers what they should be, because they're still having that cancellation or the acceptance rate problem. This clearly shows if you give too many rejections, you won't get the bonus. Why? Because you're not accepting the rides. We want you to we want to change your behavior, so accept rides, so then we don't have this national acceptance rate problem. But the problem is drivers are still continuing to say, this ride's not worth it for me to take. I'm not taking it. Decline, recline, wait for a trip to come in. It's called cherry picking. And drivers are still continuing to do that. In fact, Joe has guaranteed rates in his city, in Minneapolis, and his acceptance rate, I think last he said, was like 56%, because the rides that are coming in still aren't the right rides, and he doesn't want to necessarily float the money for the time being, and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's just how simple is it just to pay drivers what a ride is actually worth? And then all of this goes away. You don't have to worry about coming up with all these little things like standard versus pro or standard versus advantage, and then putting in an Uber Pro and then coupling it with this and that and everything else, and then trying to do more behavior modification when it comes to these rejections, when it comes to quests. And, oh, you get too many rejections. Sorry, you don't get your bonus, but we're going to feed you crap, so you have to take it.
Well, yeah, this is bad. I mean, look, we're not complaining. I mean, look, it's a decent quest if you can knock it out. If you're in a busy city, I think you can do 100 trips in like 3 days. All shorties, get it over with.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's an extra $3.20 per ride. But the question is, again, because of before upfront fares, time and distance, it didn't matter because you were getting paid the same no matter what. But the problem is with time and distance, they can put that number that you see on the offer screen arbitrarily to whatever they want. So if they want to say, oh yeah, okay, we know you're going for this quest at $320 for this. We're going to knock off all your rides that we're going to offer $3.50. You're going to accept it because you don't want to take, you can't have 200 declines. So you could make less than what you would have if you were just cherry picking.
Okay, somebody asked, will trip radar count? That's a good question.
Okay,
Probably.
now this is what I'm not sure, because it says in the fine print on the right-hand screenshot at the second thing, it says this. So let me read that real quick. It says to complete this quest goal, you must stay under the reject limit by the time you complete the trip goal. If you do not stay under the reject limit, you will not receive payment for or move on to the next quest goal, like that second tier. Actively declining exclusive trip requests and allowing exclusive requests to expire or timeout will count towards your rejects. This does not include trip radar requests. So when it comes down to that, I don't know if the problem is this isn't clear enough, because I don't know if trip radar is going to count towards a completed trip. I hope it does.
Well,
but
yeah,
it's not going to ping you when it comes to a rejection. So at least in that aspect. So if you see a trip radar request come in and you're like, no, it's not going to count towards a rejection. I don't know if it will count towards your trip goal. It should.
I mean, it doesn't on the regular, as you know, accepting or matching from trip radar doesn't increase your AR anyway. But you correctly stated all of this. I don't have to say anything about this more. Uber, why do we have to do any of this? These guys in the dark room sitting, oh, look, we just figured out that, first of all, Uber, we talked about it 2 weeks ago. Your quest counter was broken. You wouldn't get to the last one. Bro, how am I supposed to believe this counter to start with, especially with two counters now, not one counter, accepted and
remember,
rejected.
Though, they froze it on purpose. Bullshit. Remember, they froze it on purpose to change driver behavior to accept more rides.
Damn, bro. Why do they keep doing this, bro? Does it work? Does this shit really work, man?
Clearly it's not.
Clearly it's working.
No, clearly it's not, because they started with Advantage versus Standard. Then they had to roll that into Uber Pro because drivers were like, yeah, screw it, I don't really care. And then on top of it, now they're trying to do this where it's you got the AR quest, or no, they had an AR quest, and now they have it's called a reject quest. So this is like a little bit different than what the AR quest was. The AR quest was like tweaked a little bit. So either way, you could tell these things aren't really changing driving habits. They think it is because their behavior scientists are like, oh yes, it will work very well. It will work. Don't worry. Put it in there. It will change driver behavior because they're going to see it. Yeah, maybe like the stupid drivers, but everybody else who's smart, they're going to look at the trip that's coming in and say, you're joking. Do you see the gas price out there right now? $9.99 a gallon. I ain't paying that. I ain't moving my wheels for this jackass driver or passenger who's going to pay me $2.37 for this ride that's going 5 miles down the street. Not fucking happening.
Yeah. No,
I mean, drive. So, they're going to continue to that's the thing. As soon as they roll out more and more things, that just shows you that the acceptance rate problem is continuing to exist. They may knock off like a small portion, but the reality is, I don't think it's going to change a lot. Now, that's my question, though, to you. If you saw a trip request or if you saw a quest come in like this, 100 trips, $320,
I'm doing
that. That was the one you were able to choose with fewer than 200 rejects. Would you do it?
Yeah.
Would you care about would you change your driving habit just to hit the quest? Or would you continue driving the same way, meaning you'd accept rides that are worth it and decline rides that aren't?
My driving habit has not changed with quests whatsoever. If it's decent quest like this one, which you have to knock out one after the other one, short, all the $3-4 trips, I'm fucking doing it one after the other one, and declining anything outside 5 miles, period. Anything outside 5, definitely nature hikes, decline. And then, but the algo goes, oh, this fucking guy is only doing short trips. I'm not going to feed him short trips. We're going to keep him, I mean, it's up to them. The algo will probably catch up to me and says, oh, this guy's only doing short trips, and just start feeding him all the long trips now. Then my counter will go up. But 200 rejects is a lot of rejects, bro. If you if you knock this out, if you're smart, go morning rush hour, afternoon rush hour, people going to work, people coming out of work, you can knock this out in 3 days. You can do 100 trips in short trips.
But the thing is, you gotta start right away. Try to put as much as you can in the first day. Put just about the same amount in the second day, and then try to coast, but go out early, because again, everybody who does have a potential quest that they're trying to finish is 100%. Going to do the exact same thing. And 100%. At the times that you have to finish the quest, those days may not be busy because all the other drivers are out there, and there may not be that many rides. So like Sunday night, it can be
No,
busy
no.
depending on what's going on, where you're driving, but it also could be dead. And that could be the
Everybody's
reason.
trying to finish on Sunday night, bro. Don't ever leave a quest, even if it's shitty quest. Don't leave it to Sunday night. Knock it all out.
No.
Maybe just for shits and giggles, you go out on Sunday, do like 3 trips to get your money. Otherwise, if it's
finish
more than
up
10
there.
trips, you're fucked. So don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. So moral of the story is just make sure that you are not changing your driving habits to tell Uber, hey, start paying us
Go
right.
fuck yourself.
Plain and simple. If you start paying right, you know what? Then you get drivers who are going to start accepting more requests. It's just natural. Dara, you said that. If drivers are not accepting rides, you are not paying properly, and that is Uber's fault. That is not anybody else's. That is Uber's. But of course, they just want to be as greedy as they can
Hey, Dara,
and do everything they can instead of just paying the driver what it's worth.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.